Hello and good morning. It looks like people are still just getting logged in, so we'll start promptly at 11, but I just wanted to give folks another moment or two to get signed in before we get started. All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining today. My name is Shauna Puladine, and I'm a Senior Account Manager at Cascade Centers. Today's an exciting day that we get to share a new and improved financial benefit for you and your employees. But before we really dive in, I'm going to go over a few logistics first. So, we are recording today's session. You will receive a copy of it after the attendance today, and then you're welcome to share it with anybody that you'd like who maybe wasn't able to attend today. This is geared more towards supervisors, managers, HR, and wellness within the organization. So, please feel free to share as you see appropriate there. We also have some handouts that you're welcome to download as you see in the GoTo platform. There's a handout section. One is a copy of this presentation today of the slides, and then another is a flyer that is an employee-facing flyer that you're welcome to share as well. If you have any questions throughout the presentation today, please feel free to type them into the questions box. That's going to allow us to answer them, hopefully during the presentation, but if not during, then definitely at the end, we will be answering those too. It will be easier for you to type in the questions into the question box instead of doing the hand raise feature. That just makes it easier for us to identify and find those. All right, so with that, I'm going to pass the introduction over to my friend Jen, and she is going to take over and get started.
Thank you so much, Shauna. I appreciate you doing all of the partner in crime stuff for me today as we go through today's presentation. And thank you everyone for joining us. As Shauna mentioned, my name is Jen. I am the Director of Partner Relations here at Balance, and we are your new financial benefit for your employees, as she mentioned. And so during our time together, I will be sharing with you some of the wonderful benefits that are available through the Balance Financial Fitness programs. Feel free, like she said, as I go through any of the presentation today, to submit questions through the question box, and we'll make sure we check those and get those answered for you. Today, we will cover a complete overview of who we are at Balance. We'll just give you a little bit of background on us as an organization. And we'll also cover the main ways that we will empower your team members with financial education, and that is with our coaching programs, also known as financial counseling. And then we have an online financial education element and financial education webinars. At Balance, our mission is to be your financial guide. We're dedicated to helping the individual consumer figure out how to balance life's important decisions, because we know those are truly impacted by finances or have a direct impact on our finances. And we truly stand by that because we also have a vision to be the most trusted source for financial advice in the nation, inspiring and empowering people from all walks of life to achieve their financial dreams. Balance is dedicated to providing financial education. Also increasing financial confidence in the consumers who really need it most. Throughout our time in business, you can see we've been around 52 years, and we have helped millions of families in that time achieve their financial goals. We are an advocate for consumers, and we have influenced the field of financial counseling and financial education with our leadership and our innovation. We were originally founded in 1969 as Consumer Credit Counseling Service of San Francisco. However, today, Balance is a nationally respected nonprofit financial services organization that really has that mission to help people achieve financial independence. We want to help them with debt reduction, home ownership, and improved money management skills overall. We are a member of the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. We are approved as a national intermediary by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. And we are accredited by the Council on Accreditation. We also have long-standing relationships with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. This allows our housing department to assist families in finding a sustainable alternative to foreclosure. Every year, we are proud to take hundreds of thousands of phone calls. We also lead hundreds of workshops and webinars on behalf of our partners. And we have helped millions of clients throughout our time buy homes, avoid foreclosure, improve credit scores, pay off debt, and achieve their personal financial goals. At Balance, we do empower individuals through three main categories of services, as I previously mentioned. We will go through those today: financial coaching programs, the online financial education element, and the webinars. So we're going to start with the financial coaching programs. We coach clients nationwide with credit and housing counselors who are available 6 days a week. And we do provide counseling in English and in Spanish. However, if a client speaks a language other than those, we do use language line solutions for quality translation services. If one of your team members has a question related to personal finance, this is a great resource that they have at their fingertips to use. You can see some common example questions there on the screen. So people are often asking us, what are their options for getting out of debt? How can they design a budget to help them achieve goals that they have? Or how can they improve their credit or remove inaccurate information from credit? Those are very common. And we're also seeing an increase in questions about buying or selling homes. So maybe they want to buy a home in a few years, but that can feel a little overwhelming and they need help preparing for that. And we also see questions come in that may not be as common, but people need help at different stages in life. So maybe they're getting a divorce and they need to know who's responsible for what bills and how that could affect their credit. Or maybe they just got notice that their wages will be garnished and they're not sure what that means or what they can do. Our counselors are specifically trained to help answer these questions. We do a variety of different topics and answer many questions every day. And one thing that we love to assist with is helping your team member feel at ease. We know that the more comfortable they feel right from the start, the more likely they are to be able to open up and build a connection with that financial coach so that we can really help them and keep them calm regardless of what the situation may be that they're facing, because we know that many times finance questions and financial issues can be very emotional. It can feel heavy or stressful. It can be overwhelming. It can be embarrassing for some, and it could have taken them a lot of courage just to pick up the phone and need some help and ask these questions. So we try our best to make them feel comfortable right from the start. We do have on-demand appointments where we'll answer those questions, and we don't require people to schedule appointments ahead of time, but they certainly can if that works best for them. And during the initial phone call, we often uncover needs that could be helped with additional sessions that could be specialized on a variety of topics. You can see some of those specialized financial coaching sessions listed here: money management counseling, credit report review, debt solutions, foreclosure prevention, rental counseling, home purchase education, identity theft solutions, and student loan counseling. These are just some of our more specialized topics, and we'll dig a little deeper into what you can expect if people need to call in about those needs. In a money management session, our coaches will review current spending patterns and help your team member create a spending plan or budget that allows them to take charge of their financial situation. During that time, they will look at options of repaying debt or learn the importance of savings for the future. They'll also discuss goal setting, because we know if people have goals, whether that's short term or long term, that having a budget to help them find ways to achieve those goals is vital. What I love about our money management sessions is that the coaches will go through not only helping them review their spending, creating a budget, but they will also help them develop an action plan for achieving their goals and even give them advice on how they can overcome challenges that could come up along the way to achieving their goals. We have seen that people need help sometimes with budget. They have questions. They don't know if they're already, seeing more bills than they have income come in. It can be a place that they're just not sure where to start. And so we'd love to help them figure out how to achieve their goals, but also have a sustainable budget that they can stick to and feel comfortable with. In a credit report review session, we love to take the time to provide additional education to people on their credit report. We'll review credit scoring. We'll look at ways that they can maintain their credit score if they're happy with it, or maybe ways they can improve their credit score and the history of their credit. We'll also tackle correcting inaccurate information. This is pretty common, and just because something's inaccurate with one bureau doesn't mean it's inaccurate with all of them, but we will discuss that with them in detail and walk them through how to fix that information. We will also provide education on identity theft and things that they can look for on their credit report, or steps that they can take if they've already been a victim of identity theft to kind of lock or protect their credit a little more securely. You can see some of the common topics or questions that we get from people in regards to their credit, and we want to help them have a better understanding. So there are many different websites out there, many different scams out there too, that offer to help people pull credit. And so we want to give them education on how they can access their credit report in a safe and trusted way from a safe and reliable source, and how those credit reports and credit scores could differ, because the scoring systems can all vary slightly, and there's credit scores, and there's a FICO 8 score and a FICO 2 score, and all of that can be a little overwhelming at times if people aren't sure what they're looking at. So we will also make sure they understand the importance of maintaining a healthy credit history and maintaining a good score as they plan for the future. Next, we have a very popular topic to explore: debt solutions. This is our number one choice for coaching and counseling. This is really for someone who maybe just feels like they have a goal where they want to be debt free, but that feels really impossible to them in the moment, and they're not quite sure how they could achieve that goal. Maybe they find themselves spiraling out of control with debt. They're having trouble keeping up with bills, and everything feels impossible to repay on time, let alone pay to get to a zero balance and be debt free. And Balance is here to offer them a lifeline to kind of help them get a handle on that debt. We don't want to, teach them any quick way to fix things. I often tell people and remind them that debt is a lot like your physical health, right? We can't just take one vitamin and feel magically better in our physical bodies. And that's the same with credit health and financial health and getting out of debt. It's going to be intentional steps towards a resolution. And that's what we are here to help them with. And we want to be their partner and walk through that and answer questions. We'll look at ways that they can look at strategies to repay that debt. Are there ways that they could accelerate repayment of debt, or even maybe once they pay something off, what should they do with that money? Should they put it towards the extra debt? Do they have money in emergency savings? Should they put it there? We'll kind of tackle all of those things. But sometimes they're already behind and they might need advice on their changes in spending habits to improve the capacity they have in their cash flow to repay that debt. They may also have questions about how they should communicate with creditors. Are they getting phone calls or emails, letters in the mail about the things that they're behind on? We'll look at ways that we can assist them because no one solution is right for everyone. We do offer, as one of the tools that we have with Balance, a debt management plan, which is not at all to be confused with a debt settlement. With a debt management plan, we can help people pay off every dollar amount that they currently owe to their creditors or their lenders by putting it in a plan that's managed where maybe they make one payment that comes out of their account and it is distributed to their creditors for them. A lot of times this allows us to get them some concessions, maybe lowering the interest rate or waiving late fees over limit fees. But that is just one tool we have in our toolkit of ways that we will help people manage and address their debt, because we really want them to feel like they have control of their finances and not that their finances and that their debt are controlling them, because that can be a very scary place for anyone. I also mentioned a few different types of housing programs with our counselors. And as I previously mentioned, we are a HUD approved counseling agency, and we do have relationships with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. Our housing team is impeccably trained and they keep up to date on any changes and regulations that vary. So they know their stuff so well. And I'm constantly amazed at some of the success stories we have. They can address foreclosure prevention. As I stated, we want to be able to help people find a sustainable alternative to that. We don't want anyone to have to lose their homes. We also are seeing that people have a lot of questions about buying a home or maybe selling the home they're currently in and how that can impact their current financial situation, ways they can prepare for the future. And not only do we see foreclosure prevention as a need and we see home ownership as a need, we see that there are many people that are looking to rent a home. And so we want to remind you that we're also here to help people break down hard to understand lease or rental agreements so that every person has a chance to fully grasp the terms they're agreeing to before signing, so that they really know what their landlord's rights and responsibilities are, but what are their rights and responsibilities as a tenant?
Hey, Jen, can I share a question that we had come through?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the person is asking if there are resources specific to COVID and how to help those that suffered from one or more jobs lost, homes lost, changing careers, etc.
Yes, that's a great question. So, we do have many available resources that pertain to COVID on the website, but our counselors have also been kept up to date and trained with any updates as far as concessions that have been given for mortgage lending and things that have been done as far as moratoriums and credit card companies that may have given some concessions. And so they are very familiar with walking through counseling sessions that kind of started as a result of somebody's budget being impacted because of COVID. With that said, we have seen a huge increase in people calling in to ask questions about budget because their income has been impacted. Maybe their income got cut because their hours got cut, or maybe they lost overtime and that was something they were used to having, or they lost a job altogether and now they're trying to reacclimate their budget to living on the unemployment. And for some people, we saw that they needed help immediately because the unemployment was so delayed or things of that nature. So the counselors are greatly trained in that area and can help kind of guide those questions. They'll ask some probing questions to see if maybe this individual might need more than one session to really tackle the bigger picture. But there are also several resources available on the online portal that we'll review also.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course. Any other questions on the counseling piece before I move on, Shauna?
I'm not seeing any coming through yet, but I will
Okay.
definitely let you know if something comes through.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, as I mentioned, we also have an online financial education platform, and I'm actually going to be able to show you that in live time here in just a few minutes, because I want to show you how easy that can be to navigate yourselves and encourage you to visit that website. This is just a screenshot of that website, and so this is a financial education website that's put out there that has resources that are available at people's fingertips, right? Because we know that people constantly are wanting to go to the web to research their problems, big purchases, anything. And these websites are fully responsive to mobile devices and tablets. And we do offer an immense amount of customizable content on here that are available through various digital media channels. Because if your team members are, somebody that learns in one particular way, maybe they don't want to read an article, maybe they want to hear a podcast, maybe they want to watch a video. So we keep all of that in mind. But we do also push out new content on a monthly basis. All of this content is searchable via tags, life events, and the media types themselves. So we do have hundreds of articles and newsletters. We've got videos, podcasts. There's also financial booklets that they can download or print. There are financial calculators that they can use. It's just a great resource. So I'll show you some of that in live time here in just a moment. One of the features of that website is known as Balance Track. This is our premier online education program that's composed of 21 separate interactive modules. So just a little fun way that they can learn. These modules cover financial basics, maybe money management, checking account management, but they also cover financial crises. There's courses on identity theft. There's even a section that's geared more for teens and college students. Maybe they want to take a course on repaying student loans or about cash flow. These modules are really meant to be easy to absorb content, and they do have a little quiz at the end. They're not, meant to feel overwhelming. I know sometimes test or quiz can be a word that triggers anxiety for some people, but it's just meant to be fun. There's only 10 questions on all of these quizzes, and they are multiple choice. So hopefully it's a way for us to gauge that as people interact in these modules, were they able to absorb the content and apply that to their personal lives moving forward. So if they do pass a quiz with a score of 80% or greater, so 8 out of 10 questions, we will send them an email kind of congratulating them, and it has a certificate of completion for that accomplishment. And their emails are only used by Balance to send them that certificate. It will not enroll them in any ongoing communication from us. We will not spam mail or sell emails ever. We keep their privacy. That's very important to us. And so I just always like to stress that to you all. when reviewing the websites. Right now, one really cool thing I love to point out about Balance Track is that some of these online education programs actually have contests that Balance will provide and run throughout the year. And so right now with Balance Track, we're actually in the middle of a contest using this educational website. People are entered for a chance to win cash prizes through what we call our Stay on Track contest, where all they have to do is pass some of these modules for a chance to be entered into drawings for prizes. All of those prizes are fully funded by Balance. You also have access to My Balance. This is an online budgeting tool that really guides the user through setting goals, knowing their income, and recognizing all of their expenses. And it is confidential. One thing I wanted to stress to you guys while we're on this slide, the My Balance program does ask users to select their referring organization from a drop-down menu so that we can tie that back to reporting. And this will be a drop-down menu that lists Cascade centers. It won't list the individual employers at this time. So your users will need to select Cascade centers from the drop-down menu when asked for the referring provider. You also have access to a program called In Balance. This is very similar to Balance Track, but this course is a very basic level education course that teaches someone how to manage their checking account wisely. Maybe they haven't had such great luck in the past. They've, had some misuse of debit card and didn't understand, or they're not quite sure what it means to have an NSF or an overdraft, or they had fraud on an account. All of this is in this course, and hopefully once somebody completes it, like I said, it's set up very similar to Balance Track, should be a little more interactive, has a quiz at the end, but it should help someone really better understand how to manage their checking account and what their responsibilities are as a checking account owner. Sorry, my slides froze up for a second. Okay, so you also have access to Pathways to Home Ownership. This is an online education program that's designed specifically with first-time homebuyers in mind. This is here to really help those users fully understand the process and obligations of becoming a new homeowner. This is organized into 6 different modules, and there are a number of quizzes in there. But after completing those modules, the user can prepare a personal budget that really helps them organize their income, expenses, and debts. And at the end of the program, they do also receive a certificate of completion. So I am at this time going to show you the live website. Give me just a moment for that to load. Okay, it looks like you guys are seeing the website, which is cascade.balancepro.org. So this is the homepage. It's very easy to navigate. So as we
And
scroll, oh, go ahead, Shauna.
oh, yeah, I was just going to say that also you'll be able to access this website linked through the EAP member site as well. So if you don't remember cascade.balancepro.org, if you log into the EAP member site, you'll be able to link right on over to it.
Perfect. Wonderful. So from the home page, if we scroll down, you'll notice that the top menu bar stays with you regardless of scrolling up or down. And also at the very bottom of the page, you'll notice that there's the same links, right? Resources is at the bottom. You can also click on it at the very top menu bar that's white. Right next to that is the word programs, and that's also found at the very bottom of the home page as well. And then you've got these pillars in the middle that talk about some of the things we just reviewed. So there's, the counseling services, the online tools that we just talked about, and Balance Track, which is where they can participate in the contest we have going on right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on resources real quick so you can see what that looks like and where people can go to navigate the resources. And I won't show this to you now, but the very first thing that pops up on the resources page is actually a little video. You can see it's only about 48 seconds long, and that is Bridget Balance. She's kind of our little animated character that will explain to the users how to navigate all the resources, because there are thousands of resources on the website. So she kind of gives them quick tips, tricks, and a little tutorial with a visual about how they can filter through some of the resources to find what they need. So it defaults to show all types of resources. So this is everything we have, but underneath it, you can see that we can click on a certain resource to see just that. And my very favorite is the toolkits. So I'm going to click on those. Toolkits is bundled resources by a particular topic. So let's say somebody wants to talk about identity theft, but they don't really know where to start. Well, we have created a toolkit that has all the information that they could possibly want on the website that talks about identity theft. So there's always a little introduction. Then there could be a planner, like a booklet. Then it looks like there's an article and a video. You keep scrolling, there's some newsletter articles. So, and then at the bottom of every page, it's also going to give like a, you might also like, maybe that, I always joke and say that's like our Netflix recommendation. After you watch something, it tells you what else you might want to watch, or after you buy something on Amazon, it tells you, you might also like this. Our website does the same thing. So in case they're looking at something about identity theft, that could be a result of a scam, but maybe that scam is not synonymous with identity theft. So we've listed that down here, to kind of trigger them to see, do they want to read additional information on that topic? So there is a toolkit that is specific to COVID-19. And so we actually update that toolkit quite frequently. We just added some new information to an article that's like a COVID reference tool that talks about moratoriums and concessions and things of that nature. So that could be really helpful to the person who is asking about COVID resources. We also saw that people really loved to access, we have a toolkit on living on a reduced income. That was really highly used in the last year as a result of COVID. We also have one that talks about cost cutting. So we know some people, if they were on a reduced income, they needed help with cost cutting as well. And, there's really a toolkit out there for just about anything that you could think of, but specifically we do have that newest one that's on COVID. We also have one on unemployment or surviving a financial crisis. If somebody's just starting out, but they don't know where to start with information, that could be a helpful place. So this website is really designed to kind of house a lot of information for you. That you can look through. And we know that there are different ways people want to navigate websites. So we have the resource types that people can pick from, but we also give them the ability to enter keywords. I always encourage people to use this sort feature and go to recently. If they visit the website often, it can be helpful to sort by recently added, because new content is added on a monthly basis. But they can type in keywords, they can search by tags, they can also search by life stages. Maybe somebody is at the life stage of thinking about retirement. They can click on retirement and only the resources that pertain to that would load. I'm going to go ahead and navigate over to the programs page so that you can see that also. So at the top of the programs page, it is going to talk specifically about the different types of counseling or coaching that we've already reviewed. There's debt and budget, credit report, student loan, home ownership. But this program section is where the users are going to find all of those interactive modules and features that we just talked about. So this is where they're going to find Balance Track, and this does require a login to browse the website and look at the articles, newsletters, videos, podcasts. Someone is not required to log in, but if they're going to do one of the interactive features, that's where we might ask some data to collect their name for the certificate or their email address to help their account stay secure and track their usage. But I'll just click on Balance Track so you guys can see, because that's our most popular interactive program. So it is broken down into different categories. So here's the financial basics. We know that we see a lot of people spend a lot of course time in the financial basics section, but we'll continue to scroll down so you can see some of those other options. We have planning for success, where we'll talk about tax planning or financial planning or the basics of investing. We also have a few balance track courses on home ownership. So that's separate from the Pathways to Home Ownership program you have. These are a little more bite-sized and not as in-depth as the Pathways program. And then we have our section for financial crises and teens and college students. And at any time when navigating the website, you don't have to hit the back arrows. You can just click on programs to go back where you were. To visit any of the other program availability options that are there, because this is where people would access the My Balance program, the Get in Balance program, and the Pathways to Homeownership program. You can always click the logo at the top to go back to the home page as well. And you'll see underneath that first paragraph where we kind of welcome everyone, there is a link to some Spanish content. So not the entire website is not yet translated into Spanish, but we do have some resources that are available and already translated there. So there are some articles and different things in there that could be useful to those that might need it. One thing I'll show you real quick on here is the webinars. So that's the next topic that I was going to show you in the PowerPoint. So while we're on the live site, I'll just go ahead and show you how easy that is. And, you know, Balance offers these webinars that are designed to really help people have a different platform to learn the basics of money, financial planning, or saving for the future. And so we do host a free webinar every month through these websites, and they're very easy to register for and to sign up for. We try to make sure that we have a variety of topics. We plan out the topics a year at a time. And on these websites, you'll see that we list 3 months worth of webinars. So right now, we just finished the July webinar, and so we are looking at August, September, and October is what's currently on your website. And there are always 2 sessions that people can sign up for. So we'll give a little description of what might be covered in those webinars. And then we offer those on a Tuesday, midday, and a Thursday evening. And we do understand that that may not be the best time for everyone, but even though we try to give variety, we know that's not going to work for everyone. So we do still encourage people to sign up, even if they're unable to attend that live event, because if they do, we will see that they registered, we'll see that they didn't attend, and we will automatically email them a copy of a recording of that live webinar that they can watch at their leisure. You know, maybe they want to watch it the next day when they have more free time, they would be able to do so. The sign up process is pretty simple. They would just click sign up, and it doesn't matter if they click on Tuesday or Thursday because there is a drop down available that's going to allow them to pick the time. It will show in the time zone that the user is in. So I'm in Central Time because I'm located in Oklahoma, and so it defaults to show my time zone right now. And if it doesn't default, they can click show in my time zone to make sure that it's easy for them to follow. This is the registration page that they will complete. Again, we do ask for first name, last name, and email address, and the email address will never be used to enroll them in any ongoing communication from Balance. We'll just use this email to send them a link to join the webinar or to send them the copy of the recording if they were unable to attend that live event with us. There are a few questions here that we do ask, such as the name of the financial institution or the organization that referred you to this webinar. And that is where we would ask that people typed in Cascade or Cascade Centers or Cascade EAP, whatever it is that you guys refer to Cascade Centers as in your organization. And then there's a second question they can answer. If applicable, please put the name of your employer that's associated with the organization listed above. Then they will check the box to agree to receive communication from us to join the webinar, and then hit register. And they will get a confirmation email normally within just a few moments.
And I will share that these webinars will be sent to you to register for in our monthly Worthwhile webinar communication. So you should be receiving our monthly communications that talk about all of our upcoming webinars, and they do include Balance's webinars as well.
Fabulous. Well, I will go back to the PowerPoint.
We do have a question about webinars. Someone asked if the webinars have closed captioning.
That's a great question. So I know that we have that feature on most of our videos. So I will need to double check on the closed captioning for the live events. I know that GoTo offers that for us on the recordings. So allow me to research that. I have not been asked that. So that's a great question.
Great, thank you, Jen.
Of course. Okay, allow me to, yes, just like we talked about, this slide is just showing you what we just walked through on the website, the section for webinars. If you click on that, it takes you to the list of the webinars. We really would love for you guys to attend. Like Shauna said, you'll get links to join those webinars that they send out as well. And, you know, there is the website link that she actually was referencing that you guys have, the cascadecenters.com/webinars. That's an easy place for you to go to constantly have access to all the webinars that you have at your fingertips through Cascade Centers. And this is just an example picture of how people could register for the webinar. I know I just mentioned that, but just wanted to give you a visual as well. So I know that was a lot of information. It's always a lot to kind of go through and to digest, but it's all there to be helpful. And we know that people absorb information differently. We know some people want phone counseling as their first line of defense. We know some people want webinars. Some people want videos or articles they can read and navigate at their fingertips through their smartphone. And so we want to be able to have something for everybody and something that appeals to all learning styles. And so I hope that you guys were able to have a better idea of everything that Balance offers. And I'd love to answer any additional questions that any of you may have at this time. We do still have plenty of time that we can answer those. So feel free to type those into the chat so that I can assist you. I really do appreciate all of you again. Thank you for taking the time to join us today so you could learn more about balance. Shauna, are there additional questions?
Not yet, but yeah, we can give folks a few more moments to type in those. I will say that this is such a rich benefit that you all now have access to. So we did offer financial coaching previously. This is an enhanced version of that that is included in your EAP contract. All of your members have access to this. And not only just the employee, but also their spouse or partner and any dependent children up to age 26 can all access this great benefit as well. So just know that. And we are very excited to be partnering with Balance and being able to offer all of these wonderful new tools and things too. It doesn't look like any additional questions are coming in. What we will do is we have recorded today's session, so we will be following up afterwards with a copy of the recording. If there are additional questions or if there's anything you all need to access, please don't hesitate to reach out. You're welcome to call Cascade Centers. Our phone number is listed here on every slide, and we can get you over to Balance if you have questions, or if you want to get set up with any of those services, you would contact Cascade to do so, and we are happy to help you out any way we can. All right. With that, Jen, thank you so much today for that wonderful presentation. What a great overview, so in depth, and there's just so many different tools and resources available to our clients, and we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. We are excited to partner with you to help make an impact on people's financial lives and on their financial well-being overall.
Great. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, everyone. We appreciate the time that you took today to join us for today's webinar.